Hey drivers, today I'm going to tell you what you need to do at track day. I think to some people track days can feel very intimidating. You're not sure if you're good enough, you're not sure if your car is good enough. Some people think they need a fully built race car in order to do a track day, or who knows what else, but you don't. At the time of recording, I just finished TRD series, and I've done a total of 8 track days. So these are my top 5 honest things you actually need to do a track day. Number 1, a well-maintained car. This is one of the most important things that you need. Now, some people might bring a new car, in which case there shouldn't be much to worry about, but most people are going to bring a used car or something that's a little bit older, and you don't want your track day to end prematurely because the car broke down, because a belt broke, or it overheated, or it leaked oil all over the track. These kind of things can instantly end your track day, and you can't get refunds. In fact, with things like the oil leak, the track may even charge you cleanup fees, and they're going to close down the track until they've towed your car into the pits, cleaned up the mess, or whatever needs to be done. And everyone else, dozens, potentially even hundreds of people, are going to have to stand around and miss the time that they paid to be on track too. So don't be that person. Make sure your car is in decent running order, you have no check engine lights, no major leaks, you got some tread on your tires. In fact, most organizations will even have a checklist for you to do your own tech check before you get on the track. Number 2, DOT4 brake fluid and upgraded pads. This is the only real modification you're going to need to be able to track your car. And if you have a higher end sports car like a GTR or some Porsches, they might even already have it as standard equipment. However, for most cars, you're going to need to upgrade to DOT4 brake fluid, which has a higher boiling point than standard brake fluid. This is a 100% must-have. This might surprise some, but under track conditions, your brakes get so hot that it can actually boil the fluid and you will have no brakes. Same idea for pads. Most OEM pads will overheat pretty easily under heavy braking repeatedly, and again, you will have no brakes. Don't worry about a big brake kit, but pads and fluid are a must. And real quick, before I move on, if you could give this video a like and subscribe really quick if you're finding it interesting or helpful, it really helps me as a creator and it will help other people see the video. Number 3, proper safety equipment. This one might hurt some feelings. You need proper safety equipment, but that might not mean what you think it does. At minimum, most places will require at least some type of Snell, SA, DOT, or FIA approved helmet, depending on your location. And if you have a convertible, you'll need a roll bar. That's all you need. You don't need a harness or full cage or whatever else you can think of. That said, if you want to be extra safe, you can upgrade, but it all comes as a package. That means you need a 4, 5, or 6 point harness, a harness bar to mount it to, a bucket seat, a helmet, and a Hans device. Don't use any of these devices except for the helmet without all of the rest of them. There are some cases where you can use a bucket seat on its own if you have a proper way to mount the belt through the side of the seat. Otherwise, the belt won't be in the proper place and can actually cause injury. Also, if you have a harness, most are fixed in place without an inertia reel, and you can actually snap your neck with just the harness and the helmet. It's amazing how many people don't have a proper safety setup. In fact, I even know experienced track drivers that still have a whack combination of safety gear. If you don't want to commit to all of it, you are safer using literally none of it. Just keep your stock interior and put on a helmet. I'm going on a bit of a rant here, but it's just really dumb to use the things that are specifically for safety in a manner that actually makes you less safe. So either go full race car or keep it simple. Number 4 is alignment. This is a small thing that can make a big difference, and you want to make sure it's good before going on track. If your toe is out of spec, your car won't turn in the way it should or track straight. Going along with that, you also want to make sure things like your tie rods and bushings aren't worn out, so it'll actually hold the alignment. This actually happened to me recently. I was trying to get my car aligned, but it turned out that the tie rod was worn out and it wouldn't hold spec. So give yourself the best chance to have full control of your car and not have to fight it on track. Later on, you can even get into custom alignments with adding a little bit of camber or caster, maybe taking out some toe, but make sure you do your research before you go crazy with that. Number 5, last one before we get to some bonus tips. Bring a torque wrench, tire pressure gauge, and air compressor. Now, if you have a lot of tools and the space, you can never be too prepared, but most of the time you're not going to need everything. But you do want to bring a torque wrench to retorque your wheels throughout the day. It's surprising how much things can actually loosen up between all those sessions. Things are constantly getting very hot and cooling down, expanding, contracting. High loads are being put on those studs and lug nuts from cornering G's and hard acceleration. so bring a torque wrench. Then you want an air compressor to adjust tire pressure. Things will vary a lot based on the weather and other factors, but you almost always want to run a lower pressure on track than you run on the street. A lot of compressors will have a gauge right on them, but they're usually not that accurate, so I'd have a separate gauge for more accuracy. You can even chalk your tires to find the ideal pressure to get maximum contact patch, but don't worry about that at the beginning. Now for some bonus tips just to make your overall experience better. Bring snacks and water. Usually there aren't going to be a lot of options for good food nearby. And bring sunscreen so you don't cook out there all day. If you have an Easy Up or a trailer, that's next level, but I've gone full Ajuma mode and brought an umbrella. Lastly, you don't need your ego. If you haven't been to track before, no matter how fast you think you are, you have a lot to learn. So go in with a student mindset. Hopefully you guys found these tips useful or at least interesting. If you haven't been to track before, these should help you be more prepared. Or if you have been to track before, please let me know in the comments below what tips you have for other people watching the video. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. It'll help other people see the video and it really helps me out. I'll catch you guys in the next video where I tell you guys some tips for getting faster on track.